Wait Your Queer podcast would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which this podcast is recorded of the Wurundjeri people. We pay our respects to the elders past, present and emerging, as this podcast is about storytelling, connecting with one another and empowering each other to make an impact today and a difference for the future.
This is a non-judgmental platform that tells the individual stories of our queer community. Any homophobia or abuse will be immediately reported. Something I've learned is you do have to really talk into it.
You have to really get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like really, really close, like this. Yeah.
Oh.
Is mine on? I don't know if is mine working? I think it is.
Yeah, let's.
No, we're recording. Okay, we're recording.
She's a keeper. Okay.
All right. Thank you for holding my mic for me.
This is kind of erotic. I'm kind of into this.
And the hand on the back.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
You guys can't see, but Brooke is holding the mic for Alyssa right now. Very, very close to her mouth. It's
Really
kinda hot.
supportive. It's not on my mouth. Jeez.
That's too low.
I'm not used to
Higher,
having
higher.
these things in my face anymore. All right. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Wait, You're Queer. I'm one of your hosts, Alyssa Linicus, and this is my beautiful girlfriend and co-host, Brooke Cleal. On today's episode, we are extremely excited to be chatting to the one and only Bailey Dunnage,
Hello.
who you might also know as Aubrey Haive.
Oh, no, you behave.
From season 2 of Rupaul's Drag Race Down Under.
That's true. And yes, I was the one when RuPaul was still there. So it is RuPaul's Drag Race.
Okay.
Now it's only Drag Race Down Under because RuPaul's not there anymore.
Side note, was RuPaul actually there?
Yeah, no, he was there. I think that it looks like he's not because the room that they shoot in is so small that they have to like flick everyone around the other side of the camera to shoot one side of the room and then you all go back. And so you never see us in the same shoot because shot, I should say, because like it's too small. But anyway, yeah.
Okay.
So he is there.
Myth busted.
Yeah. I love that rumor though.
I loved it.
Imagine if they had the money to green screen him in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's where the budget went, clearly.
I was going to say it would cost less just to fly down.
Truly.
So I've seen you, Aubrey, on RuPaul's Drag Race,
Mhm.
and oh my god, the charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and
Amazing.
For a full 2 episodes. Crazy that I still managed to show it off.
Honestly, so wild because I feel like the way you presented on the show was so classy, just that vintage, like 60s house.
Yes.
I loved it.
Thank you. It was a good time.
yeah. Okay. So strap on.
Mhm.
I mean, in.
I've done both.
For the story that made Bailey who they are today, and maybe a little bit of cheeky goss from the season if we're lucky.
I think we can manage that.
So, Bailey, tell us firstly, what are your pronouns? Give us a little bit of like an insight of your childhood just before we get stuck into Drag Race.
Yes.
It's good to get to know who you are as a person and why you are the person you are today.
So my pronouns are he, him, unless I'm in drag, and then I'm hopefully giving she, her. Hopefully after the 3 hours of makeup and hair and all of that stuff. So yeah, I use he, him out of drag, she, her in drag, but I sort of like identify as kind of like gender fluid. But yeah, it's like an interesting thing for me because like I like gender is such like a spectrum.
It is.
But I think for me personally, like I'm very fortunate to be able to do drag. Drag is like my outlet for my like she herisms of my gender.
Oh yeah.
So I get to like do all of that as Aubrey, and then when I'm Bailey, I'm like very like I like to just be like kind of like more mask.
Yeah.
Not well as mask
I'd say you're
as
quite
mask as I can get. Mask presenting, I guess you could say.
Lucky
Which is
partner
really cool.
gets the best of both
It
worlds.
really is. And I truly. And I like to like I think that gender fluid's good because like Aubrey is still such a huge part of me, and like it really is like a lovely like expression of that side of my gender. So and it like really is a huge part of it, and I get a lot out of it. So yeah, I like to use gender fluid. He, him, she, her. Honestly, if you use they, them, I don't mind either. But yeah, but that's kind of like where I'm at with that. Yeah.
It's a really normal thing these days. Like it's normalizing just to be a little bit more gender fluid.
Yeah.
Most people we've spoken to have been like, yeah, I'm kind of like just me.
Yeah, it's like I liked when you were talking about like labels and stuff. Like I can understand like they're helpful for like people understanding like outside of you and explaining it to people, but like inside, you just know what
Yeah.
you feel. You just
Oh,
feel
yeah.
something, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When I first met Alyssa, she said the best thing, like that story you were telling me about
Strap on.
You're so
about
hot.
when you were well, that.
You're the best.
But she was saying that, like, when you're having kids and things like that, there shouldn't be a pronoun, essentially. It should
Yeah.
just be like they're just a person and
Yeah.
let them decide almost what they
Totally.
want to be
Totally.
instead of like having those pronouns identified right from the
Yeah.
beginning.
I like that like we're getting into a place now where like I feel like that's becoming more of the like a common thing that you would see. And like totally like just educate kids like on all of the available options and they will choose what they want to do. It's like great. Yeah. Oh my God, it'd be so
like wholesome and inclusive.
it really would.
The dream.
I wish I had that as a kid, to be honest. Yeah, it would have been so
I
nice.
know.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, good segue.
Segue.
Oh my
Let's
God,
get
we
into
are
it.
so good at
I
this.
know. We've done it 5 times.
So backstory of me, I grew up in a small town in New Zealand. Kind of lost my accent. Please don't read me for that. I went to theatre school and they kind of told me that I need to sound like an Australian. And also people would just kind of like laugh at my accent. I just got sick of it. So I just like
So is this
I just-
real accent
An
now?
accent.
my New Zealand accent like comes out if I have a few more. By the way, we have mimosas this morning, courtesy of my suggestion.
Yes.
So if things start to get a little derailed by the end, it's because the champagne is truly kicked in.
Yeah. And
But
it's cheap.
it is cheap,
And we're due
but
for our next refill very soon.
we actually are. We've almost finished all of them, and we've barely even started, which I love. Yeah, so I grew up in a small town in New Zealand. It's called Timaru. It's in the South Island, and I think it's like population like 40,000 or something. So it's like small, but not like too small, but definitely has that like small town
Yes.
vibe. And if anyone who has been to New Zealand or knows New Zealand that's listening, like it's a very small population just in general in New Zealand. So when you get into those small towns, like they feel very small. Like they're
Yeah.
very small town vibes. So yeah, I grew up there. I am from a very big family. I have 4 brothers and 2 sisters. Wait, 4,
Whoa.
3, 4. No, 4.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I can't even remember. So I have 2
my
full
God.
brothers with like my dad and my mum. They're all my mums, by the way.
Wow.
So 2 full brothers. I've got 2 half brothers
Nice.
and 2 half sisters. And the
Oh, God,
age.
okay, you have to test me on that at the end
Yeah,
of this.
okay.
I'm gonna be like,
Bailey couldn't even remember.
I can't even remember. No, truly. Yeah, so they're all my mums. There's like a very vast like age difference between us. Like, my younger sister I think is 11 now, and I'm 28, which I haven't said, which is important information. I'm 28.
Yeah.
Don't look at that, right?
No.
Stop! Are you flirting?
Still
Oh my God.
barely of age.
Oh, shut up. So I'm like 28. Then okay, look, my family tree is very muddled and just like I'm not the closest with like a lot of my family, but like not in a bad way, just like it's just the way my fam is. I think my oldest brother is probably almost 40 now. And so
Fred.
they're all my mums. So my mum's has like a 40-year-old son and an 11-year-old daughter right now.
Whoa.
Isn't that
With
crazy?
different partners.
Yeah, there's like 4 different
Okay.
dads
Yeah,
in there.
okay. That is like
It's-
a trooper of
It's
a woman.
truly by the end they just fall out. Like she's crazy.
They're
It's I have a very complex relationship with my mom. My dad is like so my mum and dad split up when I was about 9.
Yeah.
And mum did the old cheating thing. Not good, mum.
Mm.
And she moved over to Darwin.
Okay.
Don't ask me
I
why.
find people from New Zealand do tend to move to like
Yeah,
the Northern Territory.
there's lots of Kiwis
Yeah.
in Darwin for
Huge,
some
and
reason.
like top of New Queensland. as
Yeah,
well.
I think it's because it's kind of the same,
Yeah.
big country town.
Yes.
Like it's still like kind of
Yes.
like
Yeah.
small town vibes mentality, but it's a bigger city,
Yeah.
so they
Yeah.
get like the best of both worlds. So my mum kind of like hates people,
Yeah.
so
Fair
it's kind of
enough.
isolated
Yeah.
over there if you want it to be. So
Yeah.
she's kind of thrives there in that
Mm.
way.
And she's still there.
She's still there now. She's
It was.
like a very complex relationship with her. She's gotten a lot better these days. I feel nervous talking about it because I
Yeah.
haven't talked to her about a lot of things. So hopefully, Mum, if you're listening, call me. No.
Good olive friend.
Truly. I just actually, such a tangent here, but I just started therapy recently, which
Yeah.
anyone who's listening, if it's accessible to you, which it should be more,
Mm.
let's just put that as a blanket rule. Yeah, truly. But like, go to therapy. It's so helpful. It's so beautiful, magical. And
There's
it's
such a
great.
bad stigma around
Yeah,
therapy,
there
and
really
especially
is.
for the age group like over 50. I find that
Yeah.
they think that it's like,
God.
especially like our mums and stuff. They're like,
Yeah.
I would never go and get
Yeah.
therapy. You
They're
know,
like, oh, if I'm
it's
getting
a waste of
therapy, I'm
money."
ruined. Something's
I
like
just talk to
wrong
you.
with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, or they trauma dump on you, the kids, right?
Like, fuck.
Which
I have to spend so much money and go to therapy because of this trauma dumping.
literally, which is what I'm talking to my therapist about. But yeah, so grew up Timaru, small town. Mum moved away. I stayed with my dad. I had 2 brothers that were like living with me at the time. My 4 brothers, and they're like a little bit older than me. And they're like very close, like in age, and I'm like quite a bit younger. So like they were like the 2 that like hung out.
Yeah.
I was kind of on my own.
Okay.
Growing up, very, very obvious that I was nothing like any of my siblings or just any of my family members for that matter at all. Very creative, very
Mm.
kind of like not like introverted, like kind of like would keep to myself because, as I say, like I didn't have like a sibling that was really close in age to me. So I was kind of on my own a little bit. And yeah, very creative, wanted to do like all kinds of like I used to like do like drawings, crafts, all that kind of stuff. I got into acting and like musicals when I was like maybe like 12
Wow.
or 11,
Wow.
11,
So
12.
you just knew.
I knew, and like all of it was like no one in the family did this. It was completely just like I just fell into it because it felt good for
Which
me.
is so
Yeah.
interesting
Yeah.
because people say that their environments shape people
Yeah.
or create you into the person you are. But I
Mm.
actually truly believe that if you are
It's
a creative
inherent.
soul, like you've
Mm.
come into this earth that way.
100%. Like it just felt like it was just natural for me. That's what I had to do. And like was doing it from such a young age. Actually, my mum told me a story the other day that I forgot about. Like when I used to eat food and I really liked it, I would like hum and like hum like songs and stuff as I like ate it
Yeah.
because I like really liked it, and like humming would like come out of me just because it was like my way of expressing joy.
Oh,
Isn't that
I love
crazy?
that.
So like very musical already.
Anecdote story for
Yeah.
that. My little cousin used to do that.
Yeah.
And I used to find it the most annoying.
Ah!
I'd be like,
It would be.
shut up. Like when I'm trying to enjoy my ice cream.
Yeah, well, we were too, you know, and that's how we expressed our joy.
Yeah.
And like I used to
Expressive.
sing all the time, like as a kid. My brothers and stuff used to make fun of me because I would sing all the time. But yeah, just like completely like just part of who I was growing up.
Yeah.
And then mum left. I was with dad. Obviously, really struggled with the breakup. I was actually quite a bit of a mama's boy growing up. Mum very much like actually mum like wanted a girl. Like, because obviously she'd had so many kids at that point.
They
There
were
were a
all
lot of
boys.
boys. There was only
Yeah.
one girl at that point.
Yeah.
The rest were
Yeah.
all boys.
Yeah.
She really wanted a girl. And so I came out and she was kind of like, it's a fruity little boy. She would we would go like shopping for like mood rings and stuff like as I was growing up because like I liked like rings and like I used to play with like Barbie dolls and stuff growing up. All of this like completely like obviously I'm a kid. I have no idea. I'm just doing what feels good to me.
Feels nice.
And my mum could clearly see that I liked those things.
Yeah.
And she kind of enjoyed that as well because she wanted a more feminine energy in the house. It's kind of like, do you know that theory about the more kids that someone has, the more likely they are to be queer because it is to make the family tree get not as big.
Like evolutionary.
Yeah, it's like
Good
evolutionary. So they
Yeah.
have this theory that the more kids that someone has, the more likely they are to be queer because it means that the family tree won't grow because they're now, they're
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
not going to procreate, blah blah blah. But also, it's
interesting.
one of those like nurturing things because they're not going to like procreate in that way. They become like more of like a nurturing
Wow.
personality to the rest of the family in that way because it's like a whole. And I will say, if my next brother up is listening, also a little fruity, and he's bisexual, and he
Yeah.
hasn't come out, and I wonder if he will eventually.
Is he in New Zealand?
Yeah, he's in New
And
Zealand
has he got
still.
a partner?
He does have a partner now, and I would also say she's on the queer
Yeah,
spectrum
yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
And my
Yeah.
younger sister, who's like 11, so queer. Like she when I saw her last, she actually said that she wanted be
Yeah.
he him pronouns
Yeah.
right now. And so we did that and then she wants she her
That's so
again now.
special.
Very, very queer. And so I was like, oh my God, well like she's
Yeah.
the youngest. I'm the next one up.
Yeah.
And then the one up that we're all kind of bit
Oh,
I was like, this theory is proving
Well,
to be true.
yeah, well, that's like my brother. My brother came out
Yeah.
at, I think, 17 or something.
Yeah.
But when I came out, he's like,
Yeah.
I always knew you were bi-curious. And
Yeah.
I was like, that
Yeah.
shocked me when he said that to me because I was
makes
like,
sense though.
yeah.
Because we're both the youngest.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
and like
Right?
my oldest, your oldest,
obviously,
very hetero.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think it's like it's a thing.
It
I want people to
is.
do more research. Please.
Yeah.
Thank you. If you are in that field, get onto it,
Someone
please.
needs
Love
to
it.
do like a thesis on
No,
this.
truly. Maybe I'll do it.
I think we should start right here, right now.
Should we? Let's all do
Yeah.
a thesis together. No,
No,
I
I-
hate studying. Please, please, no. I can't. I can't. No, I'm done with that.
But if you're out there listening, like
Yeah.
definitely DM us.
No,
and,
please.
like,
Yeah, if
share
anyone
your
has any more info on this, please, like, go in. We want to hear all about it. So, grew up there, was very obviously, like, different to the rest of my family, was into, like, musical theater, started doing that, knew that that was, like, I loved singing, and this is what I want to do with my life. My family's not like super well off, so I had to like make money. So I used to like busk on the street in my hometown from the age of I think probably like 13 till like
Wow.
I left. But the good thing about small towns is that they really like if the good people really rally behind you because they're like, oh, like everyone knows
Super
everyone,
supportive.
super
Yeah.
supportive. So I actually like thank God I was able to do that. And kind of a blessing being in the small town for that.
Yeah. Do you play an instrument?
I
Is
do.
that-
I play
yeah.
guitar. Yeah. I taught myself guitar. There's one over there. I know. I think I was like subconsciously eyeing it up before.
Someone needs to use that guitar because it's been sitting there since we've moved in.
She's
and-
going to need a tune.
I got the guitar when I was like maybe 14 because I
Yeah.
went through this stage where I was like, I'm gonna be a guitarist.
Yeah.
And I just played it like once. I learned the chords to like what is it? Jack Johnson.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah, and you played it last
I
night.
played it
actually.
last night around the fire. It's the only thing I know. Other
Banana pancake.
Cute.
And that's all I
Banger.
can do ever.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
So if we're really lucky, we might be able to get like
A
a
little
guitar
song.
solo at the end of today.
I'll play the outro. Yeah.
Such a
Um,
good idea. Acoustic outro.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see how these mimosas go. It will probably happen. So doing that, and then I wanted to go to uni. I needed to I needed to get out of this small town. It was
Yeah.
not for me. Growing up there, not good. High school, lots of bullying.
What was like, high school life and-
I was in the closet like so hard the whole time I was there because I grew up learning, obviously, as we do as queer people, that being gay is like bad. Like it's the worst thing. You see it on TV or any of the queer characters that you see, it's like very stereotypical or, you know, they're very, you just don't want to be that. My family had taught me, like, you know, you use gay as like a derogatory, ew, that's gross. So like I grew up learning that. And I think because I was like in musical theater and creative, obviously everyone already assumed they're like, oh, you're a fruity boy, like you're obviously gay. And I just was like, no, this is just my passion. I love doing this.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me gay. So I pushed against that even more because I think I found it like a bit of a cop out. Like, I think people were like trying to say, you're only doing this because you're gay. And I was like, no, I'm doing this because I fucking love it. Fuck off.
100%, but
And so I got like a little bit defensive in that way as well.
It's absolutely true. Like, you can just do it because you love it.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people. in
well, there is that
theatre are
stereotype.
straight.
Like,
Yeah.
I feel like straight males, for instance,
Yeah, they get it
have
a
that
lot.
stigma of, like,
Especially
being gay.
in
Like,
theater. Yeah, there's heaps of like straight guys that love musical theater and they get the same shit. And it kind of sucks because I'm like, why are we doing this? We should be allowing, especially toxic straight men, to be a little bit more creative and embrace the
100%.
femininity. Can we stop like trying to put them into this box because that's only going to make it worse for
Yes,
everyone.
They actually need an outlet.
Yeah.
It's a great way to do it.
Truly, I'm such a straight ally. No, I'm joking. I actually hate it. So yeah, so did that, and then got really bullied in high school, and I was I was like an overachiever.
Hell yeah, you
Yeah, well, I'm like a Virgo, so I'm a perfectionist. I had to be good at everything. So competitive.
because I'm a Leo.
Yeah, right.
We're sort of
Yeah,
from the
yeah.
same, like,
Is that an Earth sign as well?
No, we're fire sign.
Oh, hot. What are
So
you?
I'm an Aries.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Brooke and I are like hot fire signs.
We're very
Yeah.
passionate.
Very
discussions.
passionate.
Very
I love
passionate
that.
We'll stop it there.
Yeah,
Stop it
yeah.
there.
No, I like that. Like that. Yeah, we don't want to get too
No,
too
raunchy,
detailed
yeah,
into
no,
this
no.
into this pod.
But yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Virgos are very competitive. I
Very,
find.
very.
Yeah,
So
and they're very driven, very like they
very focused,
Yes.
very all of that. So they call it like head boy in your school.
That's like Harry Potter vibes.
Yeah, or like head prefect or whatever you want to call it. I just say that I got it because I'm really good at head. But so there was like lots of photos of me like around the school and stuff. People would like vandalize my photos, write gay on my forehead,
No.
say F
So
slur,
that's like
all of
the
that.
old day trolling.
Yeah,
pretty much.
truly. Oh,
Yeah.
I had like a meme created about me that went viral like in the scene of the teenagers, and it was like one of the formals was like Harry Potter themed, funnily enough.
Yeah.
And I did like a pose on a broomstick I flew my like cape up and I like had my mouth wide open, like flying. And they put underneath it, this is the face I make when it goes up my bum. And like I'm obviously not even I wasn't out. And that went 3,000 likes on Facebook,
Oh,
a
no.
million comments, people being like, ha ha, ha, oh my God. Even like, it was so fucked up. Even some people's like parents were commenting on it being like, oh, I've always hated this kid.
God.
Yeah,
What did you
fucked.
do?
Nothing.
Oh,
Nothing.
okay.
I brought it up and they were kind of like, there's not really anything we can do. Like, we're
So
sorry.
it comes from their parents as well,
Oh,
doesn't
truly. It was fucked. It was actually fucked.
Yeah.
So I was like, I obviously need to get out of this town. I can't live here. This is not for me.
And also, did like mum say anything at the time? Was she just like?
So, mum was in Darwin. So
Yeah.
actually, this is the thing with my mum.
Yeah.
So my mum, as soon as she left, she kind of, I think she's a very complex woman, had a lot happen to her in her life. Definitely a lot going on trauma-wise that she's gotten a lot better with now, but at the time, not great.
Yeah.
So I think she wanted me to go live with her, and I was like, I don't want to live in Darwin. I want to be
No.
here with my friends
Yeah.
that I have, places
Yeah.
I'm familiar with. I think she took it really personally because I was a bit of a mama's boy as well.
Yes.
And she felt a bit betrayed by me, so she just like cut me off and didn't talk to me for like until I turned 18.
Wait, how old were you when that happened?
9. I think for a year or two, so I was like 10, 11, she like was still talking to me, and then from there just
And who
cut
were you
off.
living with? Just
So I
your
was living with my
neighbours?
dad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I stayed with
Okay.
my dad. Dad's really good. He's like a very like a sensitive guy. Had a very hard upbringing as well, very actively trying to break the mold and quite vocal about that, like as a parent, which I really liked
Yeah.
growing up because it was nice to hear that he'd be like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have good role models in my life either,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to do better.
Yes.
So he was pretty good with that. So it was nice. So dad was very good, very supportive growing up. So I thank God I had that, which was good. He did get a little religious though for a little while, which became a little bit. It
Like
was
a
hard.
phase?
Yeah, it was like later in probably from when I was about like 16 to like when I was leaving.
Yeah.
So
And you hadn't come out at
I
this
hadn't
point.
come out.
So he
So
was starting those religious conversations.
yes,
Okay.
yes, and it really did help him, religion. And honestly, look, religion, it is what it is. If it helps you and you're doing it in a way that doesn't affect other people around you, and it is truly to spread joy and be, a good human being.
Great way to describe
Sure,
it. Yeah,
great,
100%.
but he did get a bit preachy and start to put it on to other people, and I'd just be like, Dad, it's not for me. I'm glad it's working for you, but it's not for me. So just
Don't enforce
pipe
it.
down. Yeah. So left, got into a university in Perth, Whopper, which was crazy. I was 18 or 17 when I auditioned. Got in 3-year bachelor, and so I'm leaving Timaru, going straight to Perth, which is a huge difference when you're living in a small town. So, like, kind of the best transition from being in a small town to go to like a big country town, which I would call Perth
I'd
a
say
big
Perth
country
feels
town.
that way. I haven't been, but
It's a little
yeah.
conservative still, which is not good, but like at least it wasn't like a jump scare of Melbourne, which, by the way, love Melbourne, my home. I'm obsessed with
Found
Melbourne,
it.
but
Yeah,
it was like a good step up into that. So as soon as I got there, I was surrounded, by all the queers, like so many gays in the course, and I was like, cool. I actually started to like explore being gay when I was right at 17 with like a best friend of mine. We actually live together now in in Melbourne.
Is this at Whopper?
No,
Or
this
when you
is
get
back
there?
home in Timaru still. So this was my first, like, this is my actual, like, realization of being gay.
Oh my God.
Okay,
Okay.
we need to know this.
Yes.
This is a fundamental
Wait,
part.
should we do like a quick refill?
Yes, let's do a quick
Okay,
refill.
I
I
feel
also
like-
need to pee.
And then when we come back, we'll talk about the coming out story.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So bad.
Yeah.
Okay, here we
We're
go.
back. Sorry. We've talked about the fact that I do drag, right? Yeah, we have.
No,
No,
I
I'm
didn't
just,
know
I'm
that.
just, just like prefacing that, like, that's like so much of my life now. So I will just make weird, like, random sexual noises because that's just part of my drag persona. But it's like slowly, like, started to creep into my general life. So you will just hear me be like, oh yeah, like, just out of nowhere. It's completely inappropriate as well. But in my brain, it's not like a sexual thing. It's just like a.
They're just
I feel like Alyssa does that.
Do you do it?
Well, I'm
Like,
a big
literally.
Drag Race fan.
Yeah.
I mean, look, up until we went to London because Stan didn't
Ah.
work in London.
Oh yeah,
So
R.I.P.
I ended up cancelling my Stan
Of
account,
course.
and then they started like throwing them out. Like
Yeah,
there's like
yeah, yeah.
Drag Race, All Stars,
Everywhere.
there's everything. And
So
so I
much.
fell behind, and now I've come back, and I'm just so far behind the 8 ball that I'm like,
And you are with everyone on that because everyone's just too overwhelmed. There's too much Drag Race.
no one.
There's too
And
much.
I never thought we'd say that. There's too
I
much
know.
Drag Race.
It's kind of
because
it's crazy.
who has time?
I know.
We
RuPaul
need to watch-
apparently.
Yeah.
because they're AIing him.
Ah, true. Green screened.
True.
Honestly, they probably have enough footage now to be able to like AI him in.
Mm.
That's kind of crazy.
Oh my God. Once
'Cause they've done so
in
many
like, in like
seasons.
50 years' time, they can still.
Oh my
make
god,
RuPaul.
RuPaul's dead. But sorry, R.I.P. RuPaul. Not really, by the way. Don't freak out.
That's come out on the news.
RuPaul died at what? 87. How old is he now? I'm kidding.
Wait,
He's
you're
not that old.
clear.
But like
people that just never.
he won't be able to like let go of the franchise. He'll just like AI himself in for the rest of our. Because I have this thing. I'm like, what happens when RuPaul retires? Like, is Drag Race gonna end? Am I gonna lose work? Am I gonna have to quit drag? Like, what?
No, that's when Michelle Visage takes over.
Truly,
sorry.
and she's doing
And
so
she's
great.
A model, so
She's aging backwards.
Yeah.
She looks so good.
Benjamin
Amazing.
Buttoning.
Are you watching Down Under season 4 yet?
We haven't started.
Okay,
Haven't
it's
started.
it's going very very well.
Okay.
Must say, and she's hosting, and it's actually great. It's
Yeah.
really nice, but also I think these days because it's such a format, like the hosting is just like a fucking the same thing all the time now.
Oh, it is.
Like, and we love it. We love the familiarity familiarity.
Yeah.
Thank you. I got it perfect, that one. So like she just has to say the things that we already know and do it in a camp fun way, and we love it. And she's doing that, and it's great.
That's
Yeah.
such an easy, smart way to run a show.
Yeah.
They have a script. Like they've
Yeah.
got their sayings.
Oh, they know everything that they're doing. It's all ready to go.
Like I could probably run it if I wanted to.
Same. I've watched it enough times. Hi, girls. Welcome to the workroom or whatever. Okay, I failed. I failed already. I take it back. RuPaul, keep your job. Keep your job. I'm not taking over. I will not be hosting Down Under. Just putting it out there.
Oh,
All right, RuPaul's days.
Yeah.
like assuming RuPaul might be listening to this.
I
God,
know.
could you
True. Always,
Stop.
always listening. Anyway,
Okay.
so
Okay.
sorry. I'm meant
Where
to be
did you
talking about my
come to?
come out story.
Okay, yes,
My
the
come
coming
out.
out.
My coming out story. Come
Yeah.
out.
Why does it sound
Coming
weird
out,
now?
coming out.
Come out. Wait, come out, bitch.
Come.
So yes, I was like 17. Me and like a very good friend. So I had like a group of like theatery friends in Timaru. We all did theater and we were all like best friends, blah blah blah. Obviously, we all stick together. And one of them is my friend Brendan. Hi Brendan, if you're listening, love you. We live together now, but at the time we were like best friends and we were kind of both in the theater scene, very much obviously gay. And I think we were both just kind of like, have you been feeling this way? And we kind of like came out to each other. It was really wholesome, really beautiful. And, we're friends. We're like, should we like explore some stuff? And we did.
No better way to explore.
No, than with
someone
a
you trust.
really,
Yeah.
really beautiful like
Yeah.
best friend. And it was great. And like obviously was immediately like, oh, this is
That's
it.
right, yeah.
This is what I
Yeah.
have been missing out on for all of my
done,
teenage years.
Brendan.
Yeah, very good, very good.
It's funny
Um,
because I had a similar experience with a
With a
Brendan.
Brendan.
Oh,
My
it's those
best friend
Brendans.
Brendan was like, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love it.
And I'm pretty sure I said well done, Brendan, as well on your.
Well done, Brendan.
Well done, Brendan. Brendan's.
Brendan.
Oh, can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with the Brendan.
So had you been with women before this?
I had girlfriends. I had one girlfriend. The furthest we used to make out lots. Love that. The furthest I got is like a finger. That was about as far as a cheeky finger fingering. That was as far as we got. Oh, a little bit of boob play. Yeah. So what we call it?
Flicking the nipple.
Yeah, like flicking the nipple, a bit of that. I know, I loved that. I was like, not the flick of the nipple and then like, yeah, it's hilarious. I love it. So yeah, and honestly, to be honest, was like, I think I was in love with that girl. Like I was infatuated, and she's hot. I was very into her. But was also very just like not sure where I was because I was young and I didn't know what was going on with my sexuality at the time. So yes, Brendan and I explored things, and then obviously I had to I left and went to Perth. So I don't think we were ever really like dating because we were best friends. We were obviously always hanging out anyway. It was like an interesting way of coming out because it wasn't like a relationship, but it was, if you know what I mean. It was just like really interesting. We just sort of were like, cool, well, you're leaving.
Yeah.
This is just what it was. We had a great time. It was really fun. We're still like friends now.
Yeah.
Nothing like sexual there anymore. We've both grown into different people, and
It was a
that would be
safe
weird
space,
now.
good discovery, yeah.
Because we're like we're just friends now, which is but at the time really cool, safe space to be able to discover that. So started doing that like just before I was leaving to go to Perth, and so I was like, oh, I'm obviously gay, and then I was like, okay, I hadn't come out to like anyone at that point really, just like my close friends kind of knew that Brendan and I were playing around.
And family yet? Or not
No family yet, nothing like that. So moved to Perth. Obviously, heaps of gays there in my course, musical theatre.
Yeah.
I didn't even come out. I just everyone just assumed I was gay because I
Which
was
is great
because I
have to come
was
out.
and I was very obviously a faggot. Am I allowed to say that? Well, I know I am,
You
but like
can
on
say
the
it.
pod.
You can say it if it's comfortable for you. and
Yeah,
it doesn't
I
mean
love that
everyone-
word. Love it was my nickname in high school, so in a derogatory way.
Flipping.
Now we're reclaiming But yeah, so didn't really have to come out in Perth because obviously it was kind of obvious. And then yeah, in Perth, sort of started exploring my sexuality. Went on Grindr for the first time. Didn't know what that was. Also, I had no idea what like being gay was because there was no gay people in Timaru where I was living. Not much on media either, like on TV and stuff. There was like barely anything. So like I didn't know. So I was like figuring out what like top and bottom meant. No idea how gay sex works, like all of that kind of stuff. There's so much. So I just sort of was like figuring all of that out. I think when I first came out, like it's interesting, like the queer journey because like when I first came out, it was very obviously like actually I came out as bi first, which I think in a way we'll get to it, but like I have like an interesting feeling about my sexuality. We'll get into that later. But when I first came out, I was bi, but then very much only exploring sort of like very gay culture, very not queer by any means, like very just like gay, just gay stuff, figuring all of that out. I was always very like into people who were a little bit more like I would say on the queer spectrum rather than like just gay, if you know what I mean.
And there is quite a big difference.
There is a big
surprisingly.
difference. There is a big difference. I would be going to like all of the clubs and like making really good friends with like a lot of the drag queens. Loved like the gender expression and that kind of thing, and like the creativity, and definitely was just a little bit more fluid with their sexuality, their queerness and stuff. Definitely like gravitated to that a lot more. Went through uni, was fine, whatever. At the end of uni, I got a boyfriend. Near the end of my third year.
This was your first boyfriend.
First boyfriend, like first proper boyfriend. He's a little bit older than me, like a couple years older, very mature in some ways. And yeah, it was really good. I was in love, had the best time. It was great. And then we moved over to Melbourne together, which was a big move. We'd only been together for maybe like just under a year at that point.
That is
It was
classic queer relationship.
very
I'd say.
that. Yeah.
Might even say
Also
that.
lesbian coded,
gonna say-
which again we will get to. We will get to that
Okay.
journey of where anyway.
Okay, the
So,
suspense of this.
I
is
know.
really
I'm really
interesting.
yes. Everyone at home, are you excited? Is the suspense working? Good. You're going to listen to the end, aren't you? So we moved to Melbourne together. Big move, moved in together, first time living together kind of thing. And it was very clear when we moved to Melbourne that we were on very different journeys. He wanted like a stable partner with like a job with lots of money so that he could move to the country, have a house, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. And I didn't know this until we like left. And I was like, well, I just graduated a musical theater degree. I'm not going to be getting any work anytime soon. I can't imagine.
Polarizing lives. And also,
Oh,
So
What?
polarizing.
how random for like a gay male.
yeah.
Young male as
Yeah. He was like 20. He would have been like 25 at the
Yeah.
time or something, right?
Like, that's
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that, but
No.
it's very rare.
Yeah.
I'd say.
And like good for him. I think he's doing it now. Like, he just got engaged actually. And he's in rural Melbourne, like Victoria right now. Like he
Yeah.
got what he wanted. We were so not compatible by that point, and he did make a little bit of an error, and he went home to Perth and cheated on me with his ex-boyfriend.
A little bit of an error.
Yeah, and that kind of obviously was, I was
Troll,
like,
delete.
Yeah.
no, that's not going to work. Unfortunately, because we were kind of growing out of love at the time, he just like wasn't very like into me like sexually anymore or like intimately. I started to feel really unlovable. And then he cheated on me. I felt real bad after that. Obviously, I had like commitment issues. We tried to make it work for a bit. He was, classic story. He was drunk, blah, 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 whatever. But, it's just like, it is what it is. But look, he didn't cheat like that we weren't working.
Yes.
Like, that's the moral of the story, and that is okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, talk to people, don't cheat. That's not the way to do it. But he cheated because we were unhappy.
Yeah.
And
He's not a
that's
bad
he's not a bad
person.
person. We just needed to. We should have, if we were
Yes.
mature, but we were both very young. It was a new relationship.
Yeah.
Should have just communicated that we were
Maybe,
falling out of love, which we will get to in another one of my exes. If we have time, I don't want us to go too long.
Strap in. No,
Okay.
no. We're literally just going to upload this episode like this.
Oh, love it.
I
Loves
think we
it.
just do it.
He's not going to edit.
You're not gonna
We're
edit,
literally just
guys.
gonna let it go.
This is the rawest you're gonna get,
Yoo-hoo.
and
Like,
we
raw,
love it
raw
raw.
dogging.
We
We love raw.
Raw
Okay.
dogging.
I need to stop, man. The mimosas, guys. The mimosas. So that happened. We tried to make it work for a bit, wasn't working, and because we'd like moved together. I'm new to Melbourne. I don't know anyone here. Trying to find a new job. He was the only person I knew. It was a really not good time to be like on my own.
Yeah.
But I had to do it. We just like had to break up. Obviously, it wasn't going to work. We broke up. I moved out, found a new place,
Yeah.
tried to like find a life. Also trying to break into the musical theatre scene, which is like one of the hardest fucking industries in the
So
world.
hard.
It's really,
really
I'm still
competitive.
trying. And it's been like, what, like 8 years now. And like I've done like a couple shows, but like it's even for people who are like really good at there's not a lot of work a lot of the time.
You could be in like 3, 4, 5
Yeah.
shows back to back, and
Yeah.
then have a year or two of
Of nothing. Yeah.
Mhm.
And
that's
it's just
the
how it
reality of
is.
it.
It's
So
like very up and down almost.
It's not
and-
stable.
Yeah.
not
Your
good.
first partner would not have loved it.
No, he like fully, and like he told me, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, you knew I was like studying a musical theater degree. You knew this was my
Yeah.
life. Like, what? Why are you waiting till now to bring it up when we've literally just moved to a new place
Yeah, no.
where we don't know anyone together? We both don't know anyone, and like now, now you're on your own, bitch.
Was
Sorry.
he like hoping to maybe persuade you?
A
or
little
something?
bit. He
Yeah.
was,
okay.
and he like tried, like he was like, you need to get a job, like a real job.
mm.
Ugh, whatever.
Hate
Yeah, I
that.
hate that. And so I did. I got like a job at some call centers. Horrible. Hated it.
No offense.
Life
to
probably.
call
Yeah, literally was like, why am I doing this? But you know, it was what it was, and it got me money, and I helped me meet some new people. And then after a few years, I started to settle into Melbourne. I obviously loved Melbourne. And was able to just immerse myself in like more of the queer culture, the queer community here, and was like, oh, this is my people. This is where I feel like I belong a lot more. So over like the next few years, just was like, you know, dating and stuff, but I had a lot of trauma with like the
you
cheating
would.
and things. So it was a bit,
Yeah.
You're never
all-
the same person
you're
after being
not.
cheated on.
it takes a
Never.
long time
Yeah.
to grow back from that.
Yeah.
And even now, still have moments where it creeps up and, you know, it happens. But
Yeah.
we got there. I started like going out a lot, circuit,
Mhm.
yayas, all that kind of
And
stuff.
was Greyhound big then?
No,
Okay,
I
so
missed
that-
out on the Greyhound era.
Missed
I
Grey.
missed it. It closed like a few years before I moved here.
I was Devo.
I literally have heard all of the stories, and I was like, let's go back there. That sounds
it's
great.
amazing.
I've
And there was
heard, and the
also
stage was like incredible.
So good. There was
Wow.
also this little place called D&M,
Oh
which was
yeah.
more of a lesbian
Oh,
like
love.
club, and that closed. Which
Yeah,
was devastating.
it's shit, and it happens. It's happening a lot, and it's happening a lot at the moment as well. A lot of queer
Yeah.
places are closing at the moment. Like COVID just kind of fucked shit up
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
100%.
Anyway, so I'm sort of seeing a few people. It's kind of a bit random. I think I'm a very much like a settle down kind of like relationship kind of guy. I'm not
Yeah.
very good at like hookups.
Mhm.
You were talking like before on the last, I think it was the last pod,
Demisexual stuff,
demisexual.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm very much in that spectrum in the way that I feel like I need like a connection with people to feel intimate and that kind of thing. So was very much in the dating pool, and then I was working at like call centers for a while, making some good money, doing a little bit of musical theater on the side still, but kind of like profit share stuff, you know. It was fun, good for the passion, not good for the bank account. Yeah, and then COVID hit. Right. And I was like, fuck, I wasn't dating anyone. Because as I was saying to you guys earlier before this, Kiwis didn't really get any of the government help during COVID for the first part of it, especially in Melbourne. And so I was just like, had no work. I was like, what the fuck do I do?
Fucking
Baffles
hard.
me because you're living here technically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paying my taxes like a good.
So you paid taxes, but they didn't give you the
They don't
incentive.
give you. I
That's-
know.
That's
It's crazy.
bizarre.
It's actually kind of wild.
I didn't know
That needs to change.
It does. It does. It really does, actually. Because like New Zealand and Australia have such a tie. It's
yeah.
basically the same fucking place. Grow up.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Treatment.
yeah, literally. Through COVID, I did a few random like creative projects. I got like a grant, like a creative arts grant, which was like $3,000. I was like, fuck yeah. So that was like how I got through COVID. So I did this like, I don't even want to say because it's so cringe. It's
No,
so
we
fucking
all
cringe.
went there in COVID.
We
all
really
cringed
did.
in COVID.
And it was okay. Also, it was a different era. It was like right
Yeah.
near the I want to say near the end of the era of cringe YouTube channels, because you know how they were obviously like a huge thing. TikTok
Yeah,
killed
Yes.
the YouTube star. It was right near the end of that, and I definitely was like a little late on the YouTube channel. It was getting a bit cringe at that point. But I do want to say I created like this channel. It was called Bailey's Botanical Band. And I would sing to my houseplants to help them grow. It was like super camp. And I want to say, in hindsight, when you watch it, it looks like I don't realize that like I was kind of playing into the cringe YouTube channel. Like, hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I was doing that intentionally, but I don't think it came across on camera. It came across as like, oh, this diva thinks that like she's doing like an actual YouTube channel, which is so fine,
Do
whatever.
you know what? I actually love that.
It was
because
fun.
I'm a plant gal.
yeah.
So, there is actually a thing of like singing to the
Yeah.
plants, stuff. It
I
helps
mean,
them grow.
I was like doing a bit. It was very camp, and I would like talk about like taking care of your houseplants, like how to look after them. It would be like a little educational thing, and then I would sing a song to them because I wanted to
Yes.
sing. I love singing. Got my guitar out, sang some songs. It was good way of getting music out there in the world at that time, and people loved it. Actually, people loved it. It was great.
Right.
It was a lot of.
It's what people needed at the time.
It
I
really
think.
was. There was a lot of energy though, and it was like too much by the end. I was like, okay, this is too much work, and I just wanted to stop.
Is it still on
Yeah.
YouTube?
It's still there. Yeah.
Okay.
I want to look at this. Up.
Please don't watch. If you're gonna go watch it, just go watch. Just skip to the end where I start singing, okay, and just listen to me sing, please. Please don't go look at this. I don't know why I brought this up. I don't want anyone watching it. I literally wanted to take it off.
Are we gonna bring it?
No, it has a resurgence. I like actually get like verified on like YouTube. Start making money from it. Actually, go look at it. Go look at it. So did that, got bored of that, and then I started drag. In the like second half of the lockdown, that was it for me. And I'd always wanted to do drag.
yeah.
Like as I said, like through uni, had friends that all did drag, and I loved it. But I was like, this is so much work and so much energy. I don't have the time. I'm trying to do musical theater. I don't have the time to do this. But obviously, we were in lockdown. I was like, well, I have plenty of fucking time right now, don't
How
I?
much time did you have?
So much, too much. So I started doing drag, and I fucking loved it. And then
Yeah.
I met my second boyfriend on Hinge. We love
Yes,
Hinge.
We love
Hinge.
Hinge.
Wear a
Thank
Hinge is
love
great.
story.
Oh,
Thank
yes.
you, everybody.
His name is Vin. He also did drag, and
Okay.
I had just started at the time. I didn't even know he did drag. Like when I matched with him, and then we started talking,
Yeah.
and we were like, "Oh my god, we both do drag." Got along like a house on fire. He didn't know what that meant. Also, so that
He
term.
Didn't know that term.
He didn't know that term.
What?
So I remember saying that to him one time. He's like, "What the fuck do you mean?" I was like it's a term. Anyway, fun things.
That
So
is
random.
Such a random fact.
I know.
It's a random thing to not know.
I know. So yeah, so we started dating through the lockdowns. Obviously, it was a bit weird because like we couldn't really like we weren't sure if we were just like friends because you could only really like go on like park walking date things, and you can't really go back to each other's houses without breaking the law. So it was a weird time. We weren't really sure if we wanted to just be friends or fuck or whatever. Eventually, we like broke the ice, went to each other's house. It was great. Had a really good time. He was like a little bit younger than me, very hyperactive energy, very, I would say, undiagnosed ADHD, which we love. And I mean, aren't we all? Yes, jinx. And I, at the time, I think was very like studious, very Virgo. His energy was really good for me because he was very playful and like sort of loosened me up a bit. And we had like a lot of fun together. And at that time, during COVID, needed a bit of fun, needed a bit of excitement like that. That's the magical stuff where you can be yourself and just like be a bit of a goof. We all have it in us. We really do. And as soon as you let go of the cringeness and you embrace it and you just be a bit of a fucking weirdo, You're gonna love it.
Oh,
Okay?
I feel like it's my challenge in life
Yeah.
to like
Just be a-
break the
yeah.
uptightness of
Yeah,
people.
just be
I'm
a
like,
bit of a
just
fucking
come down 2
weirdo,
levels.
okay?
Exactly, be a
It's
fucking
okay.
weirdo.
I know you've got it in you. Everyone does. It's in there
Everyone's got
somewhere. So we had a great time. Started drag together. Well, like I started drag. He helped me a lot. He was amazing. He's very good at drag. Also, by the way, drag name is Gloss. If you want to go have a stalk,
Okay.
Gloss the Queen on socials. Beautiful. The hottest drag queen
Oh my
in Melbourne.
God.
I'd say, dare I say, in the southern hemisphere. I would say beautiful, very good at drag. I know. I know. I would say I'm gonna say
That
she's
is
prettier than
huge.
me. I know it's a hard feat, but
Behave.
yeah, I love
We've,
you.
we've got a few things to look up after.
Yeah,
this.
you do. Your whole afternoon is planned.
I know.
So great time. We dated. It was great. We dated for 3 years. I went on Drag Race during this time. Crazy period. I auditioned, I think, 6 months after I'd done my first ever drag performance live in front of an audience.
It's a quick turnaround.
It was a quick turnaround,
Like
and
baby-
I got
baby
on,
drag.
and when I was on the show, I'd been doing drag for about a year,
Yeah.
like
Whoa.
publicly.
Yeah.
I'd been doing makeup and stuff in my room for like a few months
Yeah.
before that to get like good, but not like performing.
Yeah.
I wanted to perform in drag.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I want to get on the stage.
I want to be a star.
I want to be a star. And it was really that for me as well, because I wasn't really doing very well in the theatre scene at the time. Classic story. Actually, I was doing well. I get to the end, like I was always at the end of every fucking audition round. It was like me and someone else, and I just didn't get it. So actually, I was doing well. I just wasn't getting the
Yes,
gig. So it
yes.
feels like you're doing shit.
Yeah.
But really, if you're getting to the end of those things, you're actually doing really well.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
a lot of people get that far. And that's what my therapist is teaching me about self-compassion and telling myself that
Oh my
actually you're
God.
doing really well.
I feel like that's me as well. Is this
Yeah.
like a reality TV thing?
I
Because
think it
I
is.
literally said to Alyssa,
really
I'm
is.
like, I can't cope with being second. Like I feel
I
like,
think it is.
and remember my therapist was saying the exact same thing. She's
Yeah.
like, why do you think you're so competitive?
Yeah.
And
Where does it come from?
Yeah,
Always the
where does it come from?
bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah, I have that too. I'm talking to
Yeah,
my
yeah.
therapist about that, about like
it is.
just like the feeling like you're never like
Yeah.
good enough or whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
It's just the Virgo and the Leo.
it is. And it is hard, but we're getting through it.
It's the environment. It's
Yeah.
it's the systems.
It
the
is.
stars. It's like
Also, actually, complete tangent, but I saw a video on TikTok. How old am I? On the TikTok the other day. And it was talking about like cuspers of like the generation. Now, how old are you? Are you
31.
31?
30.
30. Okay, so you guys look like we're all. I'm 28, so we're
Yeah.
all like in the cusp.
Same. Yeah.
You're like millennials, but like
Yeah.
almost in Gen Z by a few. Because like I'm the last millennial,
Yes.
and I'm 96. So
It sounds like that movie, The Last of the Mohicans, but it's like
the last of the millennials. This TikToker was saying that the difference between like millennials and Gen Z. So millennial was like we're of the era of like girl boss, work
Yeah.
hard, be a girl boss, go to work, be successful,
100%.
climb the ladder,
Mm.
work really hard. That's how you make it in life.
Yeah.
And then Gen Z is like the generation that's like actually realizes that none of this means anything.
Yeah.
You're working for nothing because everything that you could have, even if you're successful, gets taken away from you because this world's fucked
Mm.
and like you can't make money, cost of living crisis. So they like
makes
are
so much
all
sense.
so realistic about like
Yeah.
work in the way that they don't give a fuck because you know that like actually this is all made up and nothing matters.
Yeah.
But
We're
it's
all
really
just in-
interesting if you're like on the cusp of that, which I feel like this like our age bracket kind of is. You're like conflicted because you feel like you have to like work really hard, but then you also are
So
in
true.
you're living in the time
Mm.
of the age of where you understand the fact that really this doesn't fucking matter and we don't have houses. We're not
True.
going to have houses. You know what I
Well,
mean? Like
100%. Well, that's what
it's
we were
really
saying.
hard.
Yeah, exactly. And we were saying this about even COVID.
Yeah.
That we were like prime
That was
COVID
in our prime
people,
and
that's why we're so behind with our savings.
Yeah,
And that's why
it's
we
hard.
don't have houses and nice things at the moment because we're like, they're bouncing
Exactly.
back.
But because we like grew up in that like millennial mindset,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't like turn off the fact that you
No.
think that you have to be the best and
Yeah,
work really hard.
100%.
And then you're also like, but then I don't because it doesn't matter. And then you're like, what
Nothing
am I
matters
doing?
anyway.
Yeah.
I'm
How do I
actually
turn this
so
off? It was
glad
so
you
good. I
said it.
saved it and I was like, I need to reshare this. Everyone needs to know this. So if you
Such a
just
big
heard
watch.
that, You're welcome. And also credit to that TikToker because that
Yeah.
it was one of those videos I was like, oh wow, that really
honestly
hit that
makes so much
spot. It
sense. Like,
does.
it makes my feelings valid.
Yeah.
Just what you said there.
Right.
I feel
And
better.
validity is what we aim for on this podcast. Is what this is all about. Where was I though? So dating Vin, Gloss,
And then we started talking about drag now.
drag race, did the whole drag race thing. We can go into that maybe a little later. We'll see how we go for time. But like actually, do you know I saved a quote? I saved a quote that you said on your first one.
I feel like we almost need to do like a part 2.
We low-key kind of do.
God.
Should we?
I feel
Sorry,
like
everyone. I am a yapper. If we decide this is going to be a part 2, and so keep listening, okay?
So we did end up deciding to do a part 2. So please tune in next week for the rest of Bailey's story. And remember to Aubrey Haive.